Hey, so I posted a video a few days ago about wanting to incorporate foreign languages intentionally in our homeschool. And that raises a fair question. Primarily, how do I teach foreign languages if I myself don't yet know one or don't know one fluently? So let's talk about that in this video. Let's talk about some ways that we can incorporate foreign languages into our homeschool, even if we haven't gotten there yet in terms of knowledge and fluency of that language. So, there are three considerations I feel that we need to make sure we're paying attention to when we're going to be deliberate about helping our children learn a foreign language. The first is going to be the material, the content, the actual curriculum, if you want to call it that, whatever approach we're going to give to teaching them vocabulary, grammar, the nuances of the language, things like that. The second is going to be live interaction. I think we all pretty much know you can't learn a foreign language effectively if you don't have someone that you can speak it with. Then the third consideration is immersion in a culture that speaks that language primarily. So let's visit these one by one. If you're like me, you're kicking yourself for not following through with learning a foreign language in school. You know, they say that it's actually easier for kids to learn foreign languages than adults. So I wish I would have taken advantage of those opportunities. I mean, for me, in middle school, I had 2 years of introductory Spanish classes at different schools. And then in high school, I opted to take French. So I had 2 years, full years of learning French, followed by 2 semesters in college. But you know, I was in that frame of mind of just getting enough credits for everything I needed to graduate, and I didn't put it into practice. And I'm sorry to say, I don't know very much French at all anymore, and only a little bit of Spanish. But it's important to me that my children not follow those footsteps. Our world has become increasingly global and increasingly connected. And we can see that there are a lot of opportunities and there's a lot of value in being able to speak more than one language in our day and age. So I feel that it's important to put the emphasis on that. So let's cover those three things, starting with material. How do we cover material if we ourselves can't teach it? I will be honest, I can't teach Spanish yet. I'm trying to learn it myself. I could maybe teach some words here and there, but I'm going to run out very quickly on what I can offer my kids in terms of teaching them this language. The good news is, like you'll hear me say over and over, we live in the best time for homeschooling our children in terms of having resources available to help fortify any weaknesses we have, whether it's algebra or English or a foreign language. If there's something that we as the parents don't know and haven't mastered, there are ways that we can pull in resources from all around to help fill those gaps. Our kids don't have to go without just because we feel like we don't know something. So, my first idea in terms of material is, like I've said before, video curriculum. You know that I'm a big proponent of using videos to help plug those holes. Where I feel like I may fall short, I can have an expert in that subject teach certain concepts to my kids via video curriculum, via online subscriptions, things like that. Our curriculum provider, BJU Press, does offer a pretty comprehensive program for Spanish. Now, what we have found, especially with their Spanish 1 program, we've tried it with our older two kids, and they have felt that it was a little too strenuous to keep them engaged. They had a very hard time just staying motivated to go ahead and see through the class. So we have actually pulled back from that approach this time. That doesn't mean it can't work for you. It doesn't mean it can't work for many families who are successfully using that program and that curriculum. So if you did choose to go that route, what BJU's curriculum offers is a series of video lessons taught by the Spanish teacher, and it's supplemented with a textbook and an activity manual to go along with it. So your child is doing a lot of work in terms of learning that vocabulary and conjugating verbs and the various things like that, like they would learn in a school setting if they were in a Spanish class in school. Now, the second option, if you say, no, that's not really the way I want to go, If budget isn't too much of a concern, you could opt to bring in a private tutor. You could find someone there in your area who is a tutor in that language and ask them what they would charge to come into your home or maybe into your homeschool co op if you wanted to share it with other families as well, and teach your children a couple of times a week in this particular language. Now, the third option, if neither of those work for you, the third option is what we are trying right now. After we got back from Mexico last summer, I decided that I wanted to learn Spanish. So I looked into some language learning apps, things like Rosetta Stone and Babbel, which I've heard both are very good. We have tried a little bit with Duolingo in the past. That's another option. What we opted to go with was Rosetta Stone. Rosetta Stone has a lifetime subscription option that is a one-time purchase and gives you lifetime access to all 25 languages there in their app. So we decided to give that a try. We bought one subscription. I began using it. I really like it. It's very immersive and really kind of pushes you to learn the language and to learn it in a conversational way. So far, it's going well for us. What we decided after this last trip to Mexico was to go ahead and get our children accounts also, so that each of them can have the app on a phone or an iPad and it'll track their own progress independently. It was a little bit hard. We tried sharing the app there for a while and it was just a little hard keeping track of everybody's progress that way. So, this is an option you may want to look at. Now, I will say that if you look into Rosetta Stone, don't pay full price. Go ahead and Google Rosetta Stone discounts or lifetime subscription discount or something like that, because they are definitely out there at least for 50% off. And actually, you could find deeper discounts if you start looking at different social media influencers profiles. A lot of times there will be affiliate links that will get you an even steeper discount than what Rosetta Stone offers just on their website. So maybe check that out also. So those are three options for how you can include material just to present the content and get your children learning in terms of this foreign language. Now let's move on to the second step, live interaction. You have to be able to practice the language, right? So in that case, there are a couple of options as well. First, most of us know somebody who speaks another language, right? So if you're learning a language like Spanish and you have some Spanish speaking friends and acquaintances, maybe ask them, hey, would you be up for a phone call here and there? Or maybe in passing after church, just start speaking and practicing those language skills, speaking in Spanish with them. Ask them for feedback. Are my kids pronouncing things right for the most part? Are you noticing anything that's really off? Are they using the wrong word here or there? Things like that. And just ask for some feedback from them to help guide your children in practicing that language. The other thing is that if that's not an option for you, or if you just don't have maybe frequent enough interaction with those friends that you feel like your kids need more practice than what you can get just from that, then I've even seen where Rosetta Stone, going back to that again, offers live interaction tools and options through their app. I haven't tried it yet, so I can't speak to how effective it is, but I do know you can set up these practice times to just kind of talk through and practice those skills with someone who is very fluent in the language. So that's another option. Now, the third thing that I wanted to talk about was immersion in the culture. And this could be the more challenging one to try to accomplish. And I just think it's something that if you feel like it's not feasible right now, don't mark it off your list altogether. Maybe just keep this on the back burner because you never know when opportunities might present themselves that you didn't expect. But by immersion in the culture, I will just say that, something like what our family just did, spending 9 days in Mexico. Granted, most of the people that we were surrounded by also spoke English, which really helped us out a lot. But we were able to learn a lot about Spanish just from the daily interactions that you wouldn't necessarily think of, in a practice conversation with your friend after church. When you're immersed in the culture and you're standing there trying to connect with someone who isn't super fluent in English, it forces you to really dig deep and find ways to connect with them using their language, whatever whatever degree you know of their language. And to me, that's an invaluable experience. That's something that is just really special and really cool to do. And if nothing else, it motivates you to want to come back and dig deeper and learn the language even more, which is where our family's at right now. So that next time we get an opportunity to go and immerse ourselves in a Spanish speaking culture, hopefully we'll be even better equipped than we were this time. So, just a quick recap: ways to incorporate a foreign language into your homeschool: material, live practice, live interaction, and immersion in a culture. If you can't hit all three, just do what you can do. Start with material. That's probably the thing that's the most easily accessible to all of us. And you can at least start there and wait for the other opportunities to present themselves. So I hope that helps. Those are some ideas for ways that you can be very intentional in including foreign languages in your homeschool, and hopefully giving your kids a leg up and being better equipped for interacting in what has become a very internationally connected world that we live in. If this video has been helpful to you, please like and subscribe. And as always, please share it with anyone else who may benefit from it. And if you haven't already, don't forget about grabbing my free ebook on confidence in homeschooling. You can get that at wiserhomeschool.com. I'll see you next time.